Hello, I'm here again. Right, okay. Box cushion. Here's a box, piece of foam. Then I'm going to cut that with me. It's not an upholstery one, but it's a meat cutter or a bread cutter. Right, just to show you how it is, how easy it is to do that. I'm tidying this up. Now we're going to make a pattern for this box. What I am going to do now, I've done that, is move the camera so that you're right on top of my pattern. Okay. So I've done some preparing here. Wait, get out of the way. Now, one way of doing a box cushion. You see that's got that's pointy there. Well, we just leave that. We don't make it curved, but we make the pattern slightly curved when we, because I'm just pushing. You'll see why later on. So if you look at most cushions, box cushions have got a slight curve on the corner. It doesn't look very nice when it's pointy. Now, this has got a slight one on it, and I've used, now what I've done is, to begin with, I've taken the measurements. I didn't draw around it, but I took the measurements of it, of my piece of foam. Because you can't make the pattern unless you've got the foam first. So, with a flexible tape measure, I've measured and made sure that they're the same, and measured them and transferred that onto my paper, like so. Okay, then what I did was, just want to double check that you can see that. Yes, and it hasn't moved. Okay, then which is this inner line here, you see, it's called net without seam allowance. You don't put the seam allowance and then you don't include all of it, because it just confuses you. You just do seam allowance without seam allowance first. Okay, these are without seam allowance. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Anyway, this is from there to there is without seam allowance, and then I've added my seam allowance, which I like to use 1/2 inch, which is a lot easier to sew. But you can, if you're a centimetre person, then you can use, yeah, it's 1/2 inch. You can use, what can you use for that? It's got it on there. 1.5 centimetres. Okay, 1.5 centimetres with my thumb is, and that's similar. It's just slightly bigger. But if you do, right, anyway. So what I've done now is, I've put my seam allowances on by marking it like that, there, and there, and then joined it up with my ruler. Now the curves, I've chose to use a pen end to make the curves perfect. So I've drawn around the curve like that on my without seam allowance bit, and then I get my tape measure, and from that curve I've made it 1/2 inch, and that's where my curve is there. Which you could probably get something else that's bigger and round to help you, or just try and do it so that it's, you know, put some little dots and then join it up so that you've got it right. Do the same all around the other corners. This is a grain line to show you that that's the way. If it had a pattern, that's why I've put a flower in there, to show you that it's the right way up. That's the right way up, and I've done my writing the right way up as well, so that's an indication that I've done that the right way up. I've also put box cushion. You have to have instructions, top, bottom, so that means my zip's going to be at the bottom. So if this, say for instance, this was a top cushion, this would be a top cushion. So that would be sitting up and the zip would be underneath. But if it was a seat cushion, then your zip would be underneath and the top would be on this end, and that would be at the bottom, at the front. That would be at the front. So it'd be like that, sitting in yours. You'd have a zip at the back where you can't see it. I hope you're with me. If you're not, questions? Okay, right, now from this piece, I've decided to put my, because this is a back cushion, I've decided to put my seam allowances around it, so hopefully you can see all that. Yeah, so, and now with a flexible tape measure, to get the measurement of from here to here, which is this bit here, I use my flexible tape measure, which it can be curved, and I put it upwards like that on its end and measure it like that. Because it's a curve, you can't measure it otherwise. So I come all the way over to there. To that, you see these bits that I've marked. I'll show you how I did that. Anyway, you get the measurement of that and put that on here. So that's the length of this. There is the length of this. And this here is the length of my zip, which is half of this. And this is without seam allowance. This is without seam allowance. We are going to put seam allowance on it next. But I'll show you how I do these bits here. So you just get your ruler, because you need a notch there, which will help you when you're sewing it up. You put a little notch there. Okay, that will help you. And then how I did it, because you've got the square there, I just went straight to the square and marked this along like that. I found this really helps. This is something I worked out myself, and it really helps when you've got a curve there.